Hello Andy, hope you all are doing wonderful preparation. Welcome to our channel Disc Civil Services in Detail, guiding aspirants to become officers. Let's begin our session of The Hindu Current Affairs Analysis and Answer Writing Strategies of October 10, 2025. So first most important article is all about India-UK relations, as it is the official visit of Starmer to India since 2024. India has signed 350 million defense deal with UK to buy missiles for the Indian Army. We aware that free trade agreement signed between both the nations, that is comes under CATA, and other than that the focus areas are education, artificial intelligence, trade, exclusively on critical minerals, artificial intelligence, technology, and the diaspora which is there in UK considered as the living bridge between both the nations. So other than that, the outcomes of this visit are missile supply, electric propulsion, maritime security, military training, as I already mentioned, critical minerals, climate technology fund, and most importantly, he visited Yash Raj Films studio in Mumbai, as he is attending this summit in Mumbai, no? So they done deal to produce Bollywood films in UK. So just imagine the contribution and connectivity. So colonial era to 2025, you have to prepare at least 500 words on India-UK relations from colonial era to 2025, from free trade agreement to covering every aspect, like what is the way forward you are suggesting for building strong ties between both the nations, what about the strategic relationship, and what are the challenges, and why UK is showing so much interest and how it is helpful for India. So you have to cover all these dimensions, as well as you have to mention that UK being a permanent member of UNSC and also a member of this NATO G7, it gives definitely an edge to India. And of course we have strong relations since British era. So from there, before independence, post independence, we put a mark as before 1947, then after 1947, what happened in 1950s, and you can talk about these economic reforms, and then you can talk about this 1990s. You can also mention about this cold era. It's a kind of giving a complete crux of these two people's relations, these two nations collaborations, as well as you can also mention about its contribution to both in terms of culture, education, technology, and especially in the Indo-Pacific region. And you can also talk about the challenges, like UK is helping, or UK is showing some, they have ties with Pakistan and China, so how it can be affecting India's interest. And you can also talk about Ukraine and Middle East, and you can also talk about UNSC reform, as we are trying for this permanent membership. And of course you can talk about this evolution of India-UK relations, and since 2004 how this strategic partnership doubled, and by 2030 we are trying to double this trade. And of course we have vision of 2035 document which he signed when he went there and signed this free trade agreement. And of course you can talk about this. And yes, this is a 10-year roadmap to deepen cooperation, economic and trade partnership, R&D hub, and few other operations, joint exercises like Ajaya Vairya, Kankan, Indradhanush, etc. So other than the content which provided here, I have given you enough information to frame at least 500 to 600 words notes in your current affairs notes. Of course we are going to do a separate session on India UK relations, but this is how you have to think and analyze. Other than saying okay, यूके से स्टामर आए हैं, इंडिया में विजिट करे हैं, समिट अटेंड करे हैं, these are the ties, these are the important pillars they are focusing, and these are the exchanges, and these are the what it's called various areas they signed to focus on growing business, confidence boosting by the both the nations, and how they are doing this trade deals and everything. So this is how whatever I have given here is all like static part and background. Then you talk about way forward of future, because ये 2035 का जो 10 years का रोड मैप डिजाइन करे हैं उसके वजह से कैसे होगा ये लिविंग ब्रिज जो डायस्पोरा बोल रहे हैं. Nearly 1.8 million strong Indian diaspora is there, which is very powerful, highly influential in business, academics, politics. How they are contributing to both the economies and promoting the people to people connectivity. Other than that, India's policy is towards UK. Here you can talk about critical technologies, national missions where they are leveraging S&T, especially in this national quantum mission, or India's AI mission or the Anusandhan National Research Foundation, as well as you can also talk about this final conclusion में challenges बता के way forward as an aspirant, as a future by bureaucrat you have to give. That's it. So this is all about it. And finally एक बार देख लो, they are focusing on deepening missiles deals, paving way for the broader complex weapons partnership, as well as a lightweight multi-role missile system, and focus areas exclusively on, as I also already mentioned, maritime, critical minerals, excuse me, and few defense areas, education, and they are focusing on enhancing skill mobility. Also they are focusing a lot on Indo-Pacific maritime security. So in that perspective, you just check out Regional Maritime Security Center of Excellence जो है, which works under Indo-Pacific Oceans Initiatives, how it is going to uh, strengthen these ties. And what about this Concon 2025? You just have to cover all these dimensions. And finally you talk about climate and green finance, where India UK Climate Finance Initiative under Climate Tech Partnership Startup Fund is unlocking this green growth financing and everything. So this is how you have to talk about collaborations, deals, trade, and people to people connectivity. So cultural perspective से लेके, maritime से लेके, defense technology से लेके, you cover every aspect. And UK India relations are highly important because of this British ruling and British era and everything. Finally conclusion में बोलोगे, future of innovation driven growth के लिए both the nations are working so hard, and to build a sustainable resilient world, these two nations are working to build cleaner and healthier lives बोल के अब conclusion दोगे. So this is all about this India UK relations, and especially it's because of this Starmer's visit and attending this summit in Mumbai. So this is all about this article, and this one is highly important, especially for the one who is writing TGPSC and also for the one who is preparing UPSC. मतलब whoever, whenever you are writing mains, it's highly important to add facts and data. And when it comes to National Crime Records Bureau reports, it's highly important to note down all the relevant facts and data. मतलब states with highest crime, in particular women safety or roads accidents or crime or digital crime, these kind of things you have to be very much ready with, because when you are writing something related to these crime relevant or case, you can use this as a case study or example in your mains answers. So coming to this article, Hyderabad logged over 9,000 road accident cases in 2023. So here the question is, when it comes to Hyderabad's roads accident, the number don't quite add up. And what the National Crime Records Bureau report suggesting is completely different from the city's own police commissionerate's records is telling. So as per NCRB क्या है 2023 डेटा के अनुसार, Hyderabad logged 2943 accidents and 335 deaths, but the combined figures from the city's Tri-Commissionerate is different. Alarming picture: 9101 accidents and 1779 deaths in the same year. So just imagine, it has to be taken care of. Even when recently Sajina ji is taken charge, he said controlling these crime, especially road accidents, has to be taken care of. ट्रैफिक को और क्राइम को, एक्सीडेंट्स को, सब चीज़ों को नज़र में रखते हुए वी आर कमिंग अप विथ फ्यू इनिशिएटिव्स टू कंट्रोल दिस बोल के बोले थे. सो यहाँ एक बार फैक्ट्स एंड डेटा है, देख लीजिए. एंड व्हाट आर द रीजंस फॉर दिस एक्सीडेंट्स, हाउ इट कैन बी अवॉइडेड, एंड कॉस्ट ऑफ दिस ह्यूमन कॉस्ट ऑफ दिस क्रैशेस, एंड टू व्हीलर्स कैसे मेगा सिटीज में कैसे हो रहे हैं, फोर व्हीलर्स में कैसे हो रहे हैं, दिस रैंक्स एंड एवरीथिंग डेटा गिवन. जस्ट गो थ्रू दिस वंस and if possible make a list of all the facts given there. You can write these as a facts or data in your mains answer. It's highly important from that perspective. National Crime Records Bureau का report का जो भी data है, it's must and should you have to write it in your current affairs notes, and you have to present them in your mains answer. That's it. This is another most important article from today's newspaper. See, there's many articles appear in newspaper every day, but you have to cover those which are highly important from your competitive exams perspective, as well as which having high chances of appearing in your mains or prelims. So this article is all about Sri Lankan Navy arrest 47 fishermen from Tamil Nadu, Karaikal, Sieges they boats. You might have come across these fishermen issues Sri Lankan waters, Tamil Nadu waters, Sri Lankan fishermen or Tamil Nadu fishermen. You might have come across these articles, and we too have done enough discussions in previous sessions, but now it's again in news because of these arrest of these 47 people, and these are from Tamil Nadu and Puducherry in two separate incidents for allegedly poaching in international waters and seized 5 boats. So here the question is, one of the person or the leader of this team is saying, this is a question of our survival and livelihood for our fishers. The governments cannot remain silent spectators. We are seeking permanent solution for this because it's related to our livelihood. How can we, मतलब हमें यहाँ अरेस्ट किया गया है, आइलैंड को लेके आए थे, subsequently from there they said कि you are under this, and even Stalin given statements and said, he given a letter to Jaishankar saying that revival of joint working group in this regard is highly important. This incident has caused significant distress within the fishing community, spreading fear across the coastal districts because it is an issue which has to be highlighted that this is the first instance since 2025 where large number of fishermen has been apprehended. As on Thursday, nearly 242 fishing boats and 74 fishermen from Tamil Nadu remained in Sri Lankan custody. So it has to be taken care. In this movie, Tandel movie, you might have come across this, as that is the incident movie taken based upon the true incident. You might have come across this fisherman issues and everything. See, I am quoting here the reference of movie because मैं कितना भी बताऊं इंटरनेशनल वाटर्स क्या होते हैं, श्रीलंका और तमिलनाडु का इश्यू क्या है, ये फिशरमैन का इश्यू क्या है, why every time they are going for fishing, and why these nautical miles कितना होता है, economic buffer zone क्या होता है, EEZ क्या होता है, then why they suddenly got caught and how they can be revealed from there. So what are the action plan these two nations has to work on, governments especially focusing on these people's livelihood and all these things. कितना भी बताऊं लेकिन एक बार मूवी का रेफरेंस बताने से it will be much more easier. That's the psychology of human beings. आसानी से याद रखने का तरीका ढूंढते हैं ना, जो just that's the reason I'm giving references. So this is all about this article. This is highly important. If possible, put 3 or 4 star marks. Highly important for your mains perspective. Those who are writing mains, please make sure you have to ready with this analysis. See here a question and answer session. I will discuss every time just to make sure how the questions are framed and how the answers are given, because these are given by the highly educated people. Like see, she is the professor of Rajeshwari Deshpande, professor of political science at the Savitribai Pune University, and she is Ruhi Tiwari, journalist and author of the upcoming book What Women Want, Understanding the Female Voter in Modern India. You may also get a question on book का नाम देके who is the author बोल के पूछ सकते हैं for prelims. So just know. So in the run-up to the Bihar Assembly elections, political parties are rolling out several welfare measures for women. On October 3rd, Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar transferred 10,000 rupees to the bank accounts of 25 lakh women under Mukhyamantri Mahila Rozgar Yojana. Earlier on September 26th, our Honorable PM Narendra Modi ji had also announced the transfer of 7,500 crore under the same scheme to 75 lakh women. So just imagine, assembly elections ke pehle, even we have seen this in Tamil Nadu's Urmai Togai scheme, Madhya Pradesh Ladli Behanas Yojana scheme, and when we were discussing about Maharashtra's elections, and Maharashtra's Ladki Behan Yojana is one such, where direct cash transfer to low and middle income group people has been given, especially to the women. Are they targeting the women voters? So what is the motive behind this? So are the women voters are changing the direction of assembly elections? Matlab these are the people who are going to decide who is going to win. Because when Maharashtra's Ladki Bahan Yojana was announced, वहाँ immediately after cash transfers वो party rule हुआ था, मतलब ruling में आया था. After successful becoming successful in that scheme, after some time they dropped this scheme and said, because of double entries, because of various false entries, double entries and few technical issues, we are dropping this scheme. इलेक्शन के पहले आपने कुछ अनाउंस किया है और अकाउंट्स में पैसे डाले हैं, और इलेक्शन के बाद विन होने के बाद भी कुछ महीनों तक आपने पैसे डाले हैं, लेकिन आफ्टर विनिंग, आफ्टर सम टाइम यू ड्रॉप्ड एंड सेइंग बिकॉज ऑफ द टेक्निकल इश्यूज, बिकॉज ऑफ द डबल एंट्रीज, बिकॉज ऑफ इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू द ओरिजिनल बेनिफिशियरीज, ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ द स्कीम इज नॉट फुलफिलिंग, सो वी आर for now trying to drop it down और postpone कर रहे हैं, hold कर रहे हैं, whatever it might be. मतलब आपका मकसद क्या है? What is the reason for announcing scheme? मतलब उतने loopholes के जरिए आप इंट्रोड्यूस करके इम्प्लीमेंट कर रहे हो क्या? मतलब एक स्टेट में एक स्टेट लेवल स्कीम को अनाउंस करके इम्प्लीमेंट कर रहे हो. इवन नरेगा, व्हेन वी वर डिस्कसिंग अबाउट नरेगा, वी मेनी टाइम्स हैव डिस्कस्ड अबाउट दिस मिडिलमैन लीकेजेस, करप्शन, फंड्स रिलीज नहीं हो रहे हैं या फंड्स नॉट गोइंग टू द राइट पीपल, आधार का और अपग्रेडेशन का बहुत सारा इश्यू है, ऑल दिस थिंग्स. सो व्हाई व्हेन यू आर इंट्रोड्यूसिंग एनी स्कीम, व्हाई यू आर नॉट फोकसिंग फॉर टेकिंग इट फॉर लॉन्ग टाइम? मतलब आपका मकसद पूरा होते ही आप रोक दोगे, और एल्स मकसद क्या है? इलेक्शन जीतने का. सो इलेक्शन के पहले आप अनाउंस कर रहे हो सो दैट वुमेन टारगेटेड ग्रुप क्या है? वुमेन आर द डिसाइडिंग फैक्टर्स. सो उनको टारगेट करके उनके अकाउंट में सीधा पैसा डाल रहे हो. सो डेफिनेटली वुमेन हैव द स्ट्रॉन्ग इन्फ्लुएंस इन द फैमिली. सो दे विल डेफिनेटली से देखिए हमें ये स्कीम अनाउंस किए हैं, गवर्नमेंट ने ये सब कुछ किया है, सो इट्स आवर रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टू मेक देम विन. देन दे विल, मतलब और ज्यादा अच्छे स्कीम्स आएंगे एंड ऑल दिस थिंग्स. So, women have become a focus group in electoral politics, just like caste groups, religious minorities. So, how do these identities play out when women are considered as a monolithic category? पहले कैस्ट बेस्ड पॉलिटिक्स बोलते थे, रिलीजन बेस्ड पॉलिटिक्स बोलते थे, टारगेट ग्रुप्स रहते थे. अभी जैसे कि वुमेन हो गए हैं, यूथ भी रहते थे, कॉलेजेस वाले रहते थे, यूनिवर्सिटीज वाले रहते थे. नाउ इट्स सो ड्यूरिंग द स्पेशल इंटेंसिव रिविजन SIR exercise in Bihar, more women voters were left out of the electoral rolls than men. How do you see this against the fact that political parties are trying to woo women voters? And most importantly, closing of the gender gap, the greater participation of women in elections and the wooing by parties, would you say the women are deciding assembly elections? Yes or no? So it's an extraordinary question and answers. यहाँ बहुत सारे points दिए गए हैं, जैसे कि 2015 इलेक्शंस में बिहार में क्या हुआ था, 2024 लोकसभा इलेक्शंस में वुमेन वोटर्स हाउ दिस आउटनंबर मेन इन मेनी कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसीज, एंड फाइनली व्हाट कैन बी डन टू अवॉइड दिस काइंड ऑफ नॉन पॉलिटिकल कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी वुमेन जो भी सेटअप हैं उसको अवॉइड करने के लिए, एंड राइट डायरेक्शन में मेजर्स लेके, सो दैट इट कैन बी इंस्टेड ऑफ जस्ट throwing schemes at women to get votes, it has to be looking for agency, measures has to be taken properly which will give them dignity, and most importantly few months money डाल के बाद में रोकने के बगैर focus on something which will give them मतलब startups या skill development या entrepreneurship. It's kind of not only money, it's more about their dignity, independence, individuality, most importantly gender equality. So this is all about, it's a highly important article with lots of analysis and all these things. Bihar elections इतना ज़्यादा न्यूज़ में है, election commission of India इतना सारा न्यूज़ में है, so you may definitely get a question on this. That's the reason I have discussed this. Just go through this article once and if possible note down on the analysis and inputs whatever we have provided and whatever there is, it is in there in this article. That's it. See here, this image I just thought to explain. Hope amid despair. See, you are going to become a bureaucrat in future, sure. Just imagine or understand about the basic rights, sustainable development goals, world, future generation, children, everything. Here, this image is all about Palestinian children at a school set up by the Maisem Association for Culture and Arts with UNICEF support. At a displacement camp in the Kharara area of Khan Yunis in southern Gaza on October 7, 2025, this pic has been taken. So the school provides classes to 1500 students in basic subjects and in the arts including drawing, music, tartis, embroidery, everything. So due to the conflict between these two regions, especially Israel and Palestine, which escalated from October 2023, this Palestinian children education has been severely affected, especially in Gaza. Here they are talking about education. Even it has been, few reports have been stated about this hunger, poverty and malnutrition, everything. Even the UN is the one which said it is a man-made chaos, not natural chaos, so it has to be taken care of, especially in the region of Gaza. हम बात करते हैं development, growth, sustainable development and taking care of earth, future generations, everything. What about these people's basic rights, having right to education, right to food, and all these things? So just I thought to discuss about it because this given a picture of the week kind of. So just imagine this kind of, अगर आप वहाँ officer हो, if you have powers or if you are an IFS officer, how can you interact or tackle this kind of issues? Being a representative from nation like India who behaves like a big brother in the times of crisis. So that's it. This is all about it. And there are two articles given on mental health today. One is India's mental health crisis, the cries and scars, and another one is about India needs unified mental health response because October 10th, that is today, World Mental Health Day. It highlights the extent of mental illness in the world. So I thought of doing a separate session exclusively which is discussing about mental health crisis in India and at global level, and what are the gaps in the system and online support data across India, what can be done to tackle this issue, what are the hurdles, etc. And we will be doing a separate session on this and I will be releasing today itself. So this is all about these editorials doing separately. And this is again talking about India-UK relations. They are focusing on two-state solution to Israel-Palestine conflict, as well as they are also talking about global instability, current era, and how India and UK are natural partners. And this partnership remains vital pillar of global stability, economic progress, as well as importance of dialogue and diplomacy. And most importantly, they are focusing on maritime security cooperation, and they are committed for enhancing this immediate and lasting ceasefire and the release of hostages and the delivery of humanitarian aid. They shared commitment to lasting and just peace, and few other aspects they have discussed, as we already done enough discussion on this. So this is all about it. And yes, I will be posting a prelims question and mains question based upon this India-UK relations. And one more area they are focusing on, we don't support illegal migration. So they are trying to control this illegal migration too. So just try to answer those prelims questions and mains questions, and if possible submit the model answer. And we are trying to do a thorough discussion of those model answers exclusively for mains, from covering this multi-dimensional approach. And you too from your side try to answer and submit them. This is another most important article from both prelims and mains perspective. Retrospective age limits under surrogacy law violate reproductive autonomy, Supreme Court. You might have come across this article few days before where we discussed about this surrogacy exclusively. Few hospitals in Tamil Nadu and Telangana, they came up with big scams where instead of giving surrogate childs, they have given these taken up beggars into boat, and from there they exploited them as surrogated, and even they lured them with biryanis and everything. We have done enough discussion on that. मतलब एक hospital था जो registered था, instead of taking proper surrogates onto board and using, और मतलब exploit कर रहे थे beggars को और drunkards को with biryanis and few very less amount, and then they exploited the home and everything. वो बोल के बहुत सारा it's a huge scam of some thousands of crores बोल के हमने discuss किया था कुछ दिनों के पहले. I hope you remember. So now again this article is all about when three couples who argued that they had created and preserved embryos long before the enactment of 2021 law. So आपको यहाँ ये समझ में आना चाहिए कि surrogacy law 2021 क्या है, what are the rules, regulations, laws. Actually उससे भी पहले आपको ये समझ में आना है कि असल surrogacy मतलब क्या है, मतलब what it is all about. So I'll explain in detail. So here this article is in news because these people complained and filed and said कि this 2021 law enactment के पहले ही we have given our embryos or eggs or whatever. So now it is unfair as we should not be disqualified on the basis of that rules and regulations. तो अभी सुप्रीम कोर्ट बेंच ऑफ जस्टिस स्पेशली नागरत्ना, हमने पहले भी बात करा था when जजेस में स्पेशली जुडिशरी में जजेस के रोल में वुमेन ज्यादा रहेंगे तो they will tackle the issues not only based upon the law but exclusively based upon their experience, and their more women onto board means more justice to the women because they are the one who can feel the pain and understand from their perspective and they can deliver the justice bolke. So again here she is saying couples पेरेंटिंग पे कंसर्न्स बता के एबिलिटीज कैनॉट बी इन्वोक्ड रेट्रोस्पेक्टिवली टू रिस्ट्रिक्ट देयर रिप्रोडक्टिव चॉइस. So the Supreme Court on Thursday ruled that the age limits under Surrogacy Regulation Act 2021 do not apply to couples who had frozen their embryos and initiated the surrogacy process before the law came into force on Jan 25, 2022. Even 2023 मार्च में भी एक बार ये लॉ फिर अमेंड हुआ था. So under the act, an intending couple is eligible for surrogacy only if the woman is between 23 and 50 years of age and man is between 26 and 55 years. यहाँ surrogacy होता है of two types. One is traditional and second is gestational. And here again, India में commercial surrogacy is not at all allowed. Altruistic सरोगेसी इज अलाउड. मतलब इसमें कमर्शियल गेन्स एंड एग्रीमेंट एंड इन्वॉल्विंग ह्यूज अमाउंट फिनेंशियल एक्सपेंसेस और सब कुछ, मतलब बहुत ज्यादा, मतलब कमर्शियल नेम इटसेल्फ says no, so it's not at all allowed in India. Altruistic is allowed, मतलब way before, where these people who are relative or widows or single parent or those who are staying in India and मतलब biological child के बारे में जो सोच रहे हैं, those kind of, but it doesn't allow any monetary transactions or something. Actually surrogacy few years back exclusively when 2021 ये लॉ आया था, तब बहुत सारे आर्टिकल्स आए थे ऐसे ही हिंदू में एडिटोरियल में, where they were discussing about these women especially from Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat, Rajasthan, northwestern regions and northeastern regions are exploited. मतलब at least a single woman has to deliver nearly 19 to 20 child in their lifetime in the name of surrogacy. They were doing this exclusively control poverty and उस time में इतना rules and regulations नहीं थे. लेकिन then came this national surrogacy board, state surrogacy board, और law इतना strict हो गया था, registration of surrogacy clinics became mandatory and they started focusing more on these necessary regulations and rules and everything. Before that there was a huge cases of surrogacy. Even you might have seen those movies. I don't want to quote those names because थोड़ा मतलब complicate हो जाएगा इसलिए. So even there were a few eligibility criteria once these rules and regulations started. The mother has to be 25 to 30 years old होना है ऐसे करके. लेकिन उसके पहले था women who were more than 15 years old, मतलब puberty में आते ही they were started using as surrogate mothers and from there they were started exploiting them. And few girl childs were given to prostitute homes and all these things and organ का जो भी मतलब huge mafia चलता था. So there was lots of discussion and mess about this. मतलब in the name of surrogacy they were doing lots of crime and they were exploiting, and poverty was the main reason other than lack of awareness, lack of education and lack of proper counseling or lack of proper regulation system. So then came this surrogacy law and then they were decided कि couples with one child, foreign nationals, in residence partners or people with live-in relationships, single man or woman, gay, lesbian couples, widowers are not allowed to use these services of surrogacy. And they also said not for commercial purpose, not for sale, not for proven it, मतलब proven it infertility जो है they only can do. Again that is of two types, traditional and gestational. उतना ज़्यादा अंदर जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, just these are the highlights, just understand. But financial compensation beyond just reimbursement should not be there, and registration has to be done for those clinics who are involved. And most importantly, this NSB, that is National Secure Surrogacy Board, and state surrogacy boards are the one who is laying down the code of conduct and supervising the functionings, as well as undertaking or advertising commercial surrogacy, exploiting surrogate mother, selling or importing human embryos, gametes, eggs. All these are not at all allowed. एंड मतलब ऑफेंसेस है, पनिशमेंट है, पेनाल्टी है, फिर भी बहुत सारे जगह ये हो रहे हैं. Again, because of lack of comprehensive regulations, legal protection for both the parties, exploitation of surrogates, commercialization, lack of legal clarity, मतलब कौन से काम के लिए कौन सा पनिशमेंट आएगा वो भी जरूरी उनको नहीं मालूम है. Foreigners and surrogacy tourism is high in few states still. So these are the few reasons. So solutions क्या करोगे? Ethical practice is very much important. You being a human, first इसको आप ethics में और legal, politics, constitution बाद में आएगा. First being a human, you think this from ethical perspective. and including fair compensation, medical care support for surrogates, and controlling these surrogacy agencies based upon this rules and regulations provided by these organizations. And consent बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है, counseling बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. The one who has desire to help the parents without children, because in this nation like India अपना culture और society इतना rooted है, बच्ची को 18 साल आते ही इनका पिल्ला लेदा, ఇంకా చదివిస్తున్నారా అవసరమా? సో షాదీ होने के बाद ఇంకా పిల్లలు అవ్వలేదా? పెళ్ళి 6 నెలలు అయిపోయింది కదా, 3 నెలలు అయిపోయింది కదా, डिवोर्स दे दो, दूसरे को शादी कर दो. एंड नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न एंड नॉर्थ वेस्टर्न स्टेट्स में तो बहुत ज्यादा ही रहता है कंपैरेटिवली साउथ इंडियन स्टेट्स. मतलब साउथ इंडिया में भी ज्यादा है. आई एम नॉट डिस्क्रिमिनेटिंग हियर, आई एम जस्ट गिविंग द डाइवर्स ओपिनियंस एंड आपको मेंस लिखने के लिए जो जानकारी चाहिए वो समझा रही हूँ. तो अगेन आफ्टर वन किड, इवन आफ्टर हैविंग वन किड, मेनी पीपल से एक ही बच्चा है, मां नहीं बनी दूसरी बार, जरूर कुछ प्रॉब्लम होगा. सो इन लिविंग इन सच ए सोसाइटी सराउंडेड बाय दिस काइंड ऑफ I don't want to call it orthodox or conservative, whatever you want to use the word, you can happily use. So living in a society with this kind of mindset carrying people around, अगर बच्चा बिना बच्चा के कपल सर्वाइव होना कितना मुश्किल है समझिए. सो दैट्स द रीजन दे कम अप विद दिस सरोगेसी एंड एवरीथिंग. एंड अभी तो आईवीएफ बहुत ज्यादा न्यूज में है. अगेन बिकॉज ऑफ दिस, थैंक्स टू टेक्नोलॉजी, वी आर एक्सप्लोरिंग different ways for survival and alternatives to face these challenges, to concerns and all these things. Again, it all has to be taken care of first from ethical perspective, then from law, rules क्या है, regulations क्या है, then procedure, then authorized and registered clinics, then the surrogates consent and desire. And after this, पेरेंटल राइट्स क्या है, सिटीजनशिप कैसे होगा, रेगुलेटरी बॉडीज क्या है, फैमिली बिल्डिंग ऑप्शंस क्या है, adoption, fostering, alternatives are there, no, other than this, because if you can't always want to have this biological child or something, because in a nation like India there are lots of people who are waiting, मतलब adopt करने के लिए, they are waiting some good family to get into. So adoption is also a wonderful option. So this is all about this article, and this article में ये भी बताया गया है, questioning the wisdom of parliament is not our interest, but imposing age limits or examining the validity of those restrictions, but was confined to the issue of their retrospective application, has to be taken care of. And most importantly, it also held that the exemption would extend to cases where embryos were created frozen before the commencement of the act. तो मैंने आपको एक्ट के बारे में बता दिया है, टाइप्स ऑफ एरोगेसी बता दिया है, चैलेंजेस मतलब सेरोगेसी के बारे में अगर गलती से भी मेंस में क्वेश्चन आ गया तो यू माइट बी or you should be definitely ready with all the points which I have explained, and you have to give an extraordinary answer from meaning of surrogacy, India में challenges, types of surrogacy, rules and regulations, Surrogacy Act 2021, amendments in March 2023, and then you will talk about this cultural, societal, religious perspectives जो भी है, and whatever the myths are there and challenges in implementing, what are the other alternates other than surrogacy, and how these women or surrogates are exploited, ये भी बताओगे. Then you will talk about this law and regulations and everything. That's it, nothing more than that. So this is all about it. And this is one more important article from today's newspaper, and most unfortunate incident. Cough syrup related deaths hit 22 in Madhya Pradesh. CM falls Tamil Nadu officials. Supreme Court agrees to urgent hearing on probe into children's deaths. So Chief Justice B.R. Gava on Thursday agreed to hear within 24 hours a plea seeking an independent investigation by Judicial Commission to probe this cough syrup deaths which have claimed this life of 22 children in Madhya Pradesh. And the death toll linked to the contamination of this cough syrup, cold rift touched 22 children in Madhya Pradesh. And here the question rises, who were the people responsible for granting this company a drug license? How was the license renewed without inspection? And they are currently verifying their medical documents to confirm the cause of the deaths and everything. लेकिन 22, just imagine छोटे बच्चे जिनका bright future था, we lost them. Previous articles में भी we have discussed about drug mafia, drug related expired date होके या improper what it's called percentages combinations के जरिए स्पेशली तमिलनाडु में बना के भेज रहे हैं। वहाँ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग बहुत ज़्यादा है, वहाँ से नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न और नॉर्थ वेस्ट, बिहार, मध्य प्रदेश, गुजरात, उत्तर प्रदेश, वो स्टेट्स में जा रहे हैं। और दिस काइंड ऑफ फेल्यूर में गिव ह्यूज लॉस टू ह्यूमन, मतलब ये आर्टिकल कैसे बताऊँ, आई एम सीरियसली डोंट अंडरस्टैंड। फॉर द सेक ऑफ अर्निंग यू कांट डू, मतलब ये जान के हुआ है या अनजान में हुआ है। I seriously don't know how to discuss this article, but it is highly important from ethics perspective, governance perspective, law and order, and most importantly, how different states are importing and exporting, intrastate, interstate, ये सब बात करके, not only talking about this cough syrup, medical medicines, pharmacy, all these things, and what are the other dimensions relevant to constitutional articles, rights, वो भी थोड़ा डाल दो. And most importantly, investigation problem reveal होने के बाद what action can be taken and what you are suggesting as a future bureaucrat or aspirant, and how this can be taken care of. A drug controlling authorities of Madhya Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, why it is not मतलब strict rules and regulations क्यों नहीं है, because of which adulterated with over 45% of glycol and toxic industrial solvent and all these things, वो एक बार देख लीजिए. And most importantly, when you are talking about this PHCs, primary health care centers, doctors and everything, we have discussed about different dimensions of healthcare sector in India, national health mission and all these things. So what is this article talking about? मतलब इंडिया का हेल्थ केयर सेक्टर के बारे में, स्पेशली दिस काइंड ऑफ इंसिडेंट्स हैपनिंग, व्हाट we can assume or understand or expect when you are focusing on complete eradication of poverty or complete eradication of tuberculosis, malaria, HIV kind of things. Basic medicines जो है उनका proper regulation नहीं हो रहा है. So what you can suggest, what you can give as a way forward or as a suggestion? Where on one side you are talking about national health mission or huge achievements and 2047 Viksit Bharat, healthcare sector, everything. On other side, the basic medicines are not, matlab, because of which not having proper infrastructure or not having proper PHCs, Anganwadis, Asha workers at rural level is something different. That challenge is something different. But these kind of incidents is something different. So इसको special investigation team डाल के केस को प्रोब करके रिजल्ट आएगा, बात करेंगे, वो ये मतलब दे विल come up with few other suggestions or rules and regulations. But what about these 22 whom we lost? So just think from different perspective and try to answer this. That's it. This is highly important from prelims perspective for all the competitive exams. India to launch red list survey to assess extinction risks to plants and animals. Already IUCN is the one which releases this red data book, and that is International Union for the Conservation of Nature, IUCN red list. This is the current global standard which lists species worldwide on the basis of extinction threats, मतलब vulnerable, extinct, ये बात करते हैं ना, threatened, least threatened and all these things. So first of its kind, India is trying to assessment of nearly 11,000 species of plants and animals and assess how vulnerable they are near to extinction के लिए. And most importantly, India already lists endangered animals in various schedules, and this proposed exercise called National Red List Assessment of Indian Flora and Fauna will, according to officials, give the most accurate assessment. तो अभी ये जो एक्सरसाइज शुरू करने वाले हैं, it will go on till 2030, and main motto is to focus on releasing this National Red Data Book on Flora and Fauna by 2030, forming a central resource for conservation of planning and threat mitigation. With this, a pool of 300 certified assessors will be created within the country, assessing capacity and exercise. मतलब सिंपल है भाई, IUCN जो कर रहा है at global level में, India करेगा at national level में and release करेगा National Red Data Book. And it is always high probable, always there in PYQs. Species, बिना species के क्वेश्चन पेपर आता ही नहीं है. And many times they ask you who releases this red data book and all these things. This time it has to be written in your current affairs notes because पूछने की ज़्यादा chances हैं. And this is all about this. That's it. For his compelling and visionary that in the midst of apocalyptic terror reaffirms the power of art. His other works including Satan Tango in 1985, The Melancholy of Resistance, War and War. His thematic course of his writings are a mix of essential despair and spiritual longing, and most importantly, he examines how individuals endure when faith, system, certainty have all disintegrated. So congratulations to him, and he is also 2015 Man Booker Prize International Prize winner, and 2025 now he is winning this Nobel Prize. So this is all about it. So this is all about today's The Hindu current affairs analysis and answer writing strategies. बहुत thoroughly discuss किया है, बहुत अच्छा discuss किया है. I'm going to post a few questions from both prelims and mains perspective. Again, I'm requesting try to attempt them, and I'll definitely discuss a model answer and post it in our official Telegram channel. अगर आपको Telegram channel अपना official नहीं मालूम है तो देख रही हूँ disc_civil services in detail. This is our official in detail ऑफिशियल टेलीग्राम चैनल का आईडी है, एक बार देख लीजिए. इवन टेलीग्राम चैनल में भी पोस्ट किया हुआ है. देयर वी आर प्रोवाइडिंग ऑल द रेलेवेंट पीडीएफ्स एंड एवरीथिंग. सो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट टुडेज सेशन. स्टडी वेल, मेंटेन कंसिस्टेंसी. मुझे मुश्किल है कंसिस्टेंसी मेंटेन करना, इसलिए दैट्स द रीजन आई एम जस्ट वो वर्ड यूज करते समय थोड़ा इधर उधर झिझक जाती हूँ. So this is all about today's session. Maintain consistency, study well, prepare well, give your best. You will definitely become successful one day. Have a fantastic day. Thank you so much.